the Immortals, then your roaches will have free reign outside of that Immortal range. And the next unit is the Corruptor. Now, Corruptors are pretty much the counter to any massive kind of air unit or Colossus, and the reason is because they do plus damage to massive, and so they counter carriers and battle cruisers fairly well. They counter Void Rays okay, but I would honestly recommend Mutalisks against Void Rays. So yeah, the Corruptor, good unit for that. And basically the very cool thing about the Corruptor is that they turn into a Broodlord, which is a super powerful unit, which I will get to in a second. So Corruptors are pretty much, yeah, I mentioned Colossus. Corruptors are a counter to Colossus as well, because Colossus can be attacked by air units and they are massive, so Corruptors will do that extra damage to them. So definitely if your opponent is getting Colossus, get Corruptors. Colossus are fairly slow against Corruptors, so if you are able to snipe them out bit by bit, then definitely use those Corruptors for that. It's very hard since Colossus counter Hydralisks so well, you definitely are going to need that Corruptor to try to counter the Colossus. Alright, and the next is the Broodlord, and I love Broodlords because not only did they initially do damage and attack, but then they spawn Broodlings and attack whatever you hit them on. So Broodlords are super powerful, and they have so much range. They have 9.5 range, so this Spore Crawler would not be able to hit him if he was outside of range. And Broodlords are pretty much the response. I think they're kind of the massive firepower, the game enders sometimes. If you really need something to kind of bust through a defense or bust through some powerful units, the Broodlord is great for that. They can outrange Colossus, they can outrange defense, they can just plow through siege tanks. So Broodlords are great if you're having trouble and you're like, man, I keep massing and we keep fighting each other and we keep beating each other. Then get some Broodlords and try to turn the tide, because they are very good for that. But the one thing about Broodlords is that they can't attack air, so you usually have something like Hydralisks or Corruptors to back them up. Typically it's going to be Corruptors because you're going to be making Corruptors anyway to morph into Broodlords. So Broodlords, very good assault and just super powerful units. So make sure to use Broodlords if you can, because they are very hard to counter against, especially if someone is going Stalkers. Now, Stalkers against Broodlord is an interesting fight, because if the Stalker can get positioning on you, then you are going to be in trouble. But if you are able to get good positioning on the Stalkers, and the Broodlings combined with Zerglings will actually be very difficult for the Stalkers to deal with. That's just my 2 cents on that. And the last unit I'm going to be talking about is the Ultralisk. Now, I wanted to start him burrowed because I just thought it was hilarious that this giant unit can burrow underground. So pretty much anything can burrow in StarCraft 2, which I think is really cool. Even Infested Terran, that is so cool. I wish I could burrow, but then I would be in Infested Terran and probably wouldn't be able to get a prom date. So yeah, but can't have everything in life. Okay, so the Ultralisk is... Blizzard is constantly changing the Ultralisk, but I think they finally have a decent figure on them. So they have 500 life as of now, and they do tons of damage to structures. They're the ram ability, 75 damage against structures, and they do splash damage, which is great, so they can just maul Zerglings. I actually saw a video where you could kill like 800 Zerglings with an Ultralisk, which was ridiculous. But yeah, they are very powerful. They do lots of damage against armor. They're not used that much. I don't think they have found their niche in the game yet, but I definitely think they will once people start finding more uses for them. Again, it's not very common that you will get to the point where you will need Ultralisks, because that pretty much involves only late game play. But Ultralisk, very good base destroyers. I kind of thought that since Zerg have so much mobility and Ultralisks are fast, you can kind of use them as base destroyers. So while you're off attacking somewhere else, you send out your Ultralisks and as stealthily as possible try to take out an expansion or a base with them. And also besides that, they are very good meaty units. I think in Zerg vs. Zerg, they are definitely going to find their place because they can't be mind-controlled or slowed. So if they have infestors, then they're out of luck because these Ultralisks are pretty much unstoppable. unstoppable, and they are very good against roaches and any kind of defenses. So Ultralisks definitely are great units. Like I said, I don't think they have found their niche yet, but they definitely will. I mean, they're pretty much just tanks and huge damage dealers. So against Marine Marauder, I think they'd even be good. Against lots of Zealots, they'd definitely be good. So yeah, find some more uses for Ultralisks, and I definitely think you will be happy with that. So that was pretty much my Zerg tutorial, guys. I hope you enjoyed that, and there is still going to be one more tutorial to come. If you guys did like this tutorial, please subscribe so you know whenever I come out with a new video, there's going to be a Terran one after that. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode of Maze Esports.